Where in the world is Kamala Ding Dong? Oh yeah, we're going to find out. Guten Tag, hola, bonne journée, and konnichiwa, Team Healthy Republic. If you're new around here, I'm Katie, and I aspire to live in a healthy republic that we once had. Before we get into it, let me know in the comments your thoughts about the status of the American-Mexican border. The good, the bad, the ugly. Also, hit that subscribe button and share the video, and then give yourself a high five since some people are still afraid to come within 6 feet of you. Now to the task at hand. Where in the world is Kamala Ding Dong? We know she's not at the border, or is she?
Do you have any plans to visit the border?
At some point, we are going to the border. We've been to the border. So this whole thing about the border, we've been to the border. We've been to the border.
So she has been to the border.
You haven't been to the border.
And I haven't been to Europe. And I don't understand the point that you're making.
I mean,
come on, man. Come on.
Is that the official comment of the White House?
As the Vice President, she does speak for the actions of the people in the administration. She certainly helps oversee. I expect that sometimes she may go to the border, Peter, but as you know, what her focus has been, what the assignment is specifically, is to work with leaders in the Northern Triangle. She's on a trip doing exactly that, exactly what the President asked her to do.
Both Jen Psaki and Harris can just cackle it off, but they've already circled back on the issue, and now we are to believe Harris really will go to the border.
Yes, I will, and I have before. Listen, anybody, especially if you're from California, you know, I've spent a lot of time on the border, and both going there physically and aware of the issues. But the reality of it is that we need to prioritize what's happening at the border, and we have to prioritize why people are going to the border.
Yeah, I'm not convinced she's going to the border ever. For the 99th time, Harris is not and has not been at the border, even though she is the one, the border czar, who is supposed to be representing the Biden administration in dealing with the crisis of illegal entry. Okay, she's not at crisis point zero, and we know she's not in Europe. But as Psaki said, Harris is doing exactly what the president asked her to do. So where is she?
I care about what's happening at the border. I'm in Guatemala because my focus is dealing with the root causes of migration. There may be some who think that that is not important, but it is my firm belief that if we care about what's happening at the border, we better care about the root causes and address them.
We found her! She's in Guatemala. What the heck is she doing there?
I want to be clear to folks in this region who are thinking about making that dangerous trek to the United States-Mexico border. Do not come. Do not come. The United States will continue to enforce our laws and secure our border. And I believe if you come to our border, you will be turned back.
But, how dare she? Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, your Twitter response. This is disappointing to see. First, seeking asylum at any U.S. border is a 100% legal method of arrival. Second, the U.S. spent decades contributing to regime change and destabilization in Latin America. We can't help set someone's house on fire and then blame them for fleeing. Oh, AOC. First, now is not the time for AOC to be talking about housing issues. It's pretty rich coming from Ms. Tesla, who just rejected donations to help rebuild her grandmother's home in Puerto Rico after she blamed Trump for blocking relief funding. When a bunch of citizens, those evil right-wingers led by Matt Walsh, donated more than $100,000 in just one day, AOC, or someone in her family, said no. She'd rather blame Trump and drive around her Tesla with the $174,000 annual salary from the taxpayers than help or allow help for her grandma. Second, AOC, get in your jumpsuit and cry me a river in the back parking lot. Or do we not stage those cry-ins anymore because Biden is president? Back in Guatemala, Harris spoke her words, which are the same words all of us have been saying since Orange Man Bad was president. And now her lefties are turning on her. What shall we do? Make cookies, of course. It's true. On Air Force Two, on her way to Guatemala, Harris handed out cookies of her face to the press corps, like the true narcissist she is. That's how the cookie crumbles. As she is faceless, spineless, and missing from the border. She really is Cookie Monster. And Kamala sure likes to talk about food.
Listen, like I, again, tell a lot of people I mentor, I eat no for breakfast.
Wait a tick, I've heard this before.
And then I will go on to tell them I eat no for breakfast.
I'm about to lose my breakfast. No! There's Jane Pauley, who is all of us right now. Unimpressed. Because what do we have to be impressed about with Harris? Share this video and comment naming one thing she has done since becoming vice president. Wait, let me rephrase. Name one positive thing for the country that she has done since becoming vice president. She's done things. Things like watch every move of President Biden, as if she is just biding her time to step in and take the presidency from the old codger, and she's said so.
He is incapable of being president of the United States, that he has been incompetent, and that's why I ran against him, and that's why Joe ran against him.
Oh, she was speaking about Donald Trump, not Joe Biden, because it's always about Trump.
This is not a statement about Donald Trump, but the American people deserve that in their president and vice president coming into office, that we address the things that are weighing on them and implement a plan, and that's what we're going to do. It's not to the exclusion of many other things that need to be addressed around accountability, but that's our focus.
Dang right you should address the things citizens want. But you haven't. You made that claim before inauguration, but that is not your focus. Your focus has been the hoopla and shenanigans cooked up by the media. You've falsified the things that actual people care about. Family, safety, health, faith, community, just to name a few. What you've done is focus on race, gender race, Black Lives Matter.
No.
Kamala Harris is probably the worst poker player because her tell is always that awful cackle. The positive is that you'd at least make bank off her in a game. Now back to the original question. Where in the world is Kamala Malama Ding Dong? To recap, Harris has been the border czar for 2.5 months, and she has not been to the border. And on her first trip this week, she went to Guatemala. Why was Harris really in Guatemala? To answer that, we must hear from my favorite of all the senators in all the land, the man who could give two cottontails about sounding politically correct, the one, the only, John Kennedy.
I think the reason the vice president went to Guatemala and met with President Giammattei is to offer him billions and billions of American taxpayer dollars to try to make his country better. And with no disrespect, but that's like giving whiskey and car keys to a teenager.
It's also like giving the presidency to a man with dementia. Where in the world will Kamalama Ding Dong go next? My money is on Disney World. It's a small world after all. Until next time, stay healthy, America.